If you could go back in time to stop the end of the world, how many times would you try before you give up? What if every change you make only makes things worse? What if you're the last human alive in a galaxy ruled by alien warlords, and you have one final chance, one final paradox, to fix everything, even if it means erasing yourself from history? This is the story of Commander Kael, the man who broke time to save humanity and vanished before we could say thank you. In the year 3049, Earth was no longer blue. From orbit, it shimmered a dull gray. Its oceans dried into acid plains, and the sky was permanently on fire. Humanity had lost a war. Not just a war of weapons, but of timelines. The Zeruan, a hive-like alien race from another quadrant of the galaxy, had discovered chronomanipulation before humans even left the solar system. They didn't just attack Earth in real time. They rewrote history, subtly shifting events, removing key figures, planting anomalies that crumble human civilization from within. By the time we realized it, we were already extinct in several timelines. But in this one last fractured reality, a single human base floated above Saturn's moon titan, Fort Kronos. Inside its freezing titanium halls, Commander Kael Myrick, the last-time agent, prepared for his final mission. He was 47, gaunt, battle-scarred, with a neural implant fused to his spine. He no longer smiled. He had seen too many versions of Earthfall. He had already traveled back 19 times. Each time he tried to stop the Zeruan. At the Battle of Europa, the Moon Treaty of 2391, the rise of the technocrat faction, but nothing worked. Each intervention only made things worse. The Zeruan adapted, like viruses learning to counteract medicine. This time was different. Kael stood in front of the chrono core, a swirling orb of raw temporal energy, suspended in magnetic fields. It hummed like the breath of a god. Across the room, Dr. Lyra Soren, the last surviving time architect, adjusted the coordinates. "Kael," she whispered, "if this one fails, we can't bring you back." "I know," he said. "That's the point." She stared at him. "You're aiming for the year 2093? That's pre-first contact. No tech, no military command." "Why?" Kael uploaded a hologram. A name blinked on screen. Elena Velasquez, age 14, Buenos Aires. Lyra frowned. "She's a child." "Not for long," Kael said. "She grows up to be the xenolinguist who decodes the Zeruan's quantum dialect. But in most timelines, she dies in a traffic accident before college. I save her. She grows. She talks to them before they become hostile." Lyra's voice cracked. "You're risking everything for one child?" "I've tried saving cities, leaders, battles. Nothing worked. Maybe saving one innocent life changes everything." The core flared. The countdown began. "Kael," Lyra said, "if this works, no one will remember you." "That's okay," he said, stepping into the capsule. "Just remember, don't build statues. Build better futures." The chamber sealed. Light swallowed him. Kael hit the ground hard. It was raining. Cars sped by on slick neon streets. His cloak activated camouflage instantly, rendering him invisible. He scanned the area. Elena was 6 blocks away, walking home from school with her mother. The car that would kill her was speeding toward an intersection. Driver distracted by an argument. Kael sprinted. "One girl," he whispered. "That's all I need to change." As he neared the corner, a child's scream echoed. Then, a flash of Zeruan temporal interference. Kael's eyes widened. The Zeruan were already here. They had anticipated his plan. A silvery humanoid, a Zeruan observer, phased into the street, its 6-fingered hand stretching toward Elena. Kael dove. 2 things happened at once. He pushed Elena out of the car's path. A Zeruan pulse struck him square in the chest. He felt his atoms scream as the timeline shuddered. He was floating. All around him were echoes of timelines. Flickering visions of Earth's burned, saved, shifted. He saw 1,000 of Elenas, alive, dead, speaking to aliens, dying in war, shaking hands with leaders, decoding languages. He saw a version of Earth at peace, flying the banner of the Human-Zeruan Alliance. He smiled. "That's the one," he whispered. "Lock it in." His neural implant kicked into override. He sent a signal back to the chrono core, a final instruction to seal this new timeline. And then silence. Dr. Lyra Soren stared at the empty chamber. No signal, no return. Only a single data stream blinked on screen. Timeline stabilized. Divergence minimal. Earth survives protocol engaged. She collapsed into the chair, tears mixing with static. There was no record of Kael, no birth certificate, no service file, no trace. But outside the base, a new world shimmered into being. Earth alive, united, vibrant. The war had never happened. The Zeroin were allies. And in a university somewhere, a woman named Elena Velasquez gave a lecture on the importance of listening across species. She had no idea who Kael was, but she carried a small silver pendant shaped like a spiral, a gift she never remembered receiving. Fort Kronos no longer floated above Titan. In this new timeline, it had never been built. There was no war, no resistance, no dying Earth. Humanity had made first contact with the Zeroin peacefully in 2132, thanks to a teenage girl who spoke their impossible dialect before war ever began. And yet, deep inside the quantum archive beneath the Pacific Ocean, now called Unity Station 1, an artificial intelligence flickered awake. Codename, Kael. Status, legacy preserved. Query, who am I? The AI didn't know, but in its neural core sat a locked memory of paradoxes, explosions in space, and a name, Elena Velasquez. Elena, now age 42, was a global ambassador for human Zeroin cultural exchange. She didn't remember her life being saved. But sometimes, she dreamed of fire and stars, of a man in black armor whispering, "You were meant to speak across galaxies." Don't forget that. One day, while speaking at the Mars Science Institute, a message blinked on her tablet. It had no sender. It read, "Mission complete. Paradox secured. K." Below the message, a map to Unity Station 1 and the words, "If you want to remember who saved us, go here." Elena stood before the vault. The AI scanned her retina. The spiral-shaped pendant on her neck glowed. "Welcome, Elena Velasquez. Memory access granted." The walls around her dissolved into holograms. She saw Earth burning in hundreds of alternate timelines. The Zeroin war fleet blotting out stars. A man, Kael, fighting alone in the time core. His final dive to save her from a speeding car. And finally, his decision to erase himself to stabilize peace. Tears welled in Elena's eyes. Why don't we remember him? The AI responded, "Because the timeline you live in has no war. He gave everything for a future where no one remembers the pain." The AI offered Elena one paradox of her own. Do you want to restore Kael into this timeline? But doing so might unravel the stability he created. She stood in silence, then slowly shook her head. No, let him rest, but let the world know someone saved us. She published the story as fiction. The Final Paradox, a tale of a forgotten time traveler. It went viral. Children wore spiral pendants. Statues of Kael were raised on Mars, Titan, Earth, even on the Zeroin homeworld. No one believed he was real, except Elena. She visited the stars every year on the day he vanished. And every time she looked into the vastness of space, she whispered, "Thank you."